Talk about it all here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button.
You know, one thing about Jaden that I've tried to talk to him about is tightening his chin strap. Because he doesn't tighten it, so every time he gets hit, it looks like his helmet's all messed up. And it's like, oh, God, he just got rocked.
For the win! Caught! It's good! LSU does it!
After fucking Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, boys! Are you kidding me?
Well, LSU fan came stuck his spike in my booty.
That motherfucker hard!
Fan brought his 2 grandkids by and literally was just 30 seconds, just wanted to say thank you for the team and the season and what you did and how much it means to everybody here is truly what makes LSU special.
Yeah. Coach Kelly, we're official. Finally, I'm
Get a
telling
chance to meet you.
Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. It's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, and I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah.
Let's go! Let's go! All right! Big start. Big day. Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you. Thanks, sir. Thank you for the time.
All right, good morning and welcome in here on this Monday, fresh off of a exciting weekend for everybody involved. Headline is LSU baseball takes down Tennessee 2 out of 3 They win Friday and a run rule on Sunday. We were all there throughout the weekend. I didn't make my way out there on Friday night.
Saturday morning?
Big regret.
Saturday morning?
Saturday morning at 1:30. But I was there on Saturday night and then realized that maybe I'm the problem. I'll stay at Alley Box, and on Sunday took care of business. We appreciate you guys joining us this morning. Christian and Lloyd are here. Christian, how are you? How was the weekend? Lloyd, you as well?
Good.
We have similar thoughts on the weekend.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Great. It's one of those that you were just happy that you were around for.
Amen.
Put it in the book.
Lloyd, I don't think you know, but I left after the 8th on Friday. Saturday morning.
Oh, once it got to 3-0? You're one of those?
No, it was just I was tired. I was pretty hammered. And I was like, oh, really?
That's when you stay. And so you're like, what? See?
Dude, I was falling asleep in the chair.
Well, wake up.
I was hammered.
That's why cocaine exists. But wake up. Like, go walk, take a walk, sunflower seeds, do something. You did all of that work to be there in the 8th.
I'm surprised you're not happy I left.
Why?
Because that's when he turned
the
around.
Yeah, you might be the problem. But
Yeah.
I just don't understand whenever you're there at 1 o'clock in the morning. You're like, you know what? I think I'm calling it. Like, if you're at the bar until 1, you might as well stay until 2. Because you've already done
Fair
all
enough.
of the hard work to get to this point. And even if LSU's down 2-0, then because one more run, everybody's like, oh, fuck, we're going. Like, just wait and see what happens. And then you get a ho-hum 6-3 win.
Amen.
The way it was supposed to be drawn
Yeah, I
out.
did miss like the greatest game in LSU.
Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting victory on Friday, ugly loss on Saturday, and then an electric win on Sunday as LSU wins the series against the Volunteers. This is back-to-back weekends. These were the 2 weekends we kind of had circled with Alabama and Tennessee. Obviously, you still got, A&M and Arkansas ahead, but you're halfway through this
Oh,
four-weekend.
and don't discount South Carolina and the Fighting Palmaries. I'm serious. Paul's going to want to shove it at LSU's face.
That's true.
If they get up for a series, it'll be the LSU series.
Yeah, no, 100%. But we had this 4-weekend kind of stretch circled. So far, LSU's halfway through it, and they've won both of the first 2 series with a 4-2 record through them. We'll start with Friday night, or we'll continue. Let's go down the headlines before we get into the serious
potatoes
stuff with the baseball series. Obviously, LSU football gets a huge commitment over the weekend. Speaking of commitments, LSU women's basketball with a huge commitment as we, I think that was on Friday, kind of right after we got off air. LSU women's basketball gets the commitment of Mylasia Fulwiley from South Carolina, which obviously is massive news. It's crazy that it feels like forever ago that news broke because of how the baseball series this weekend went about. But on last Friday, after we got off air, went back home, hung out for a little bit, and then my phone starts buzzing. It's Mylasia Fulwiley is an LSU Tiger. So big time stuff for Kim Mulkey and her squad as they're able to get Mylasia Fulwiley on campus to join what is now, to me, the best big 3 in women's college basketball. Her along with Flau'jae Johnson and Michaela Williams. And hopefully they have more news to make with Sarah Williams still looming large in her commitment as well. So we'll see what happens there, but obviously big time stuff for LSU women's basketball. We'll obviously get into that more later in the show after we discuss baseball. For LSU football, USF standout defensive tackle Bernard Gooden, who was the number 1 player in the transfer portal. He's a senior defensive tackle, had 35 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 passes defended last year. Huge get for LSU. We told you when they were going into the spring portal, when they're looking at the spring portal, it's going to be They're selecting, hand-picking guys at certain positions. Defensive line, offensive line, safety were the 3 spots. They saw the number 1 player in the portal as a defensive tackle. They wanted to use a little bit of help there. They go out, they make it happen. They get him on campus, and he leaves with a commitment to Blake Baker, Kyle Williams, and the LSU Tigers. So big news for LSU football there as well. We'll obviously get into that more, but the lead is LSU baseball and what happened this weekend as they took down the Tennessee Volunteers in what was circled preseason, and especially through the non-conference as the biggest weekend of the year for college baseball. When you're talking about a regular season series, this one had all the expectations and all the hype, and LSU versus Tennessee lived up to it. I mean, it was a electric atmosphere in Ally Box this weekend. LSU fans really flexed their muscle and showed why they are the best in the world. You know, they went out, packed house all 3 nights, weather delay on Friday, still had that place rocking at 1 a.m. And what was a special game. But we'll start with Friday night. You know, it was a pitcher's duel. It's, you know, with the 9:50 p.m. first pitch. Cade Anderson is battling throughout the night. But Tennessee's able to scratch across a couple runs, and they're able to go into the 9th inning up 3-0. The LSU offense really could not get a rhythm. They finally started to put a bat on the ball later in that game, but they just couldn't get the timely hit. They could not score the runners. They were able to get people on base, and they just could not bring them in. They go into the bottom of the 9th with not really any momentum. Tennessee had just scratched another run across in the top of the 9th, I think with Jacob Myers pitching. And you look at it, and you've got Ethan Fry hits a grounder to third, a rocket grounder to third, and the Tennessee third baseman airmails it, has to lift the first baseman off the bag, safe at first. Then I think there was a strikeout by Milam. And then Jake Brown steps up to bat, and he rips a grounder to third. You know, rolls right up the body and off of him. Error. We got 2-1. We got 1 on first, 1 on second. And then I think after that was Chris Stanfield. He pops up. And then Dalton Beck comes out next.
Dalton Beck
rips
2 appearances in the SEC.
This was his second.
His second appearance in the SEC.
Yep.
We were watching the game. We look at over on the old decks. We're like, well, this is a move. Like, you're kind of what do you have to lose at this point? But you had that momentum rolling, and I was watching it with Mikey, and it was so funny because he did almost what Christian did. The third run happened. He goes,
"That's it.
That's it. Like, I'm ready to go." And I was like, "What?" And I just gave the same speech to him that I just gave to Christian. It's like, we're already here. Like, what's the harm in staying? And so you see the immediate error by third base. Mikey goes, well, that's how it happens. This is how it happens. This is how it goes, especially here. He's like, this is the magic of the box. And I was like, the way he goes from here to here,
the ebbs and flows,
it's
baby.
Unbelievable. It's like, oh, no, now they're going to win.
He's one of us.
It's like, hell yeah, dude. All right. Then you see the second error, and that's what the box can do to you. That guy's butthole was so tight over there at third base. You could have put a lump of coal up his ass and had a diamond in a week. And then it happens again. You could see a pinch hitter coming in, hits a laser, almost kills the pitcher.
Yep.
Beck hits one right back up the middle, and now you're like, oh, bases loaded.
Oh, Reeves had a walk.
Oh, and Reeves got the walk,
Reeves
yes.
got the walk, and then Beck rips one right at the pitcher. I tell you what, pitcher was scared out of his mind.
Yeah, but I bet he wished he would have hit him.
Yeah, I bet he wishes he would have let that one conk him in the head. But
keeps it moving.
Keeps on rolling. Beck gets 2 on the board. It's 3-2. That's when Stanfield pops up, and then bring in the best freshman in the country into the box. And he sits, he takes a couple pitches, fouls one off, and then he rips one down the first base line, and that'll score Reeves. And he was fired up. Like, that is an 18-year-old that did not foregone the MLB draft, didn't go, and decided, you know what, I'm going to go play college baseball. In every single reason why he passed up on professional baseball to go to LSU, it can all be wrapped up in that moment on Friday night. Like, Derek Carriel's not the most emotional, outgoing.
It's starting to happen.
It is. But he let it all out with that single to score Reeves, LSU ties it up, and did it set up perfect or what? One guy that's had a really rough, like almost past month, I would say, for Bear Jones, where he just couldn't really find a rhythm. LSU and Jay Johnson had been playing with the lineup, trying to get Bear in a rhythm, and he just had not found it. And he had, become subject to a lot of criticism from the fan base, where they were, wanting to move him in the lineup, bench him, the whole deal.
Overrated, midweek merchant.
And he steps into the box, fights off a couple of pitches, gets the fastball exactly where he wants it, and the rest is history.
1-2.
A double
deep to center field. Way back. Pucker out. Kiss that baby goodbye over the center field wall. A monumental return to victory for LSU as Jared Jones
I just got chills
smashes his 14th home run of the year. And this place is going nuts. LSU wins it.
I mean, all of the anger and the stress and everything. Jared Jones takes it out on that baseball.
It's unbelievable.
111 off the bat, 452 feet, just gone into the night sky. And that wins it on Friday for LSU in what was probably what's going to be one of LSU fans' favorite game in their lives.
Yeah.
Like, this is one that I'm going to have penciled in and circled as, obviously Wake Forest. There's some other games from the past that are up there. That one right there is unbelievable. Like, I don't know if, I'm assuming everyone saw the video that I put out on Instagram and Twitter of I was in my living room with my dog.
Everybody's asleep.
Everybody in the house is out like a light. Like, the neighborhood is asleep. And I'm watching the game, and I like Mikey and Lloyd. I see those first two errors, and I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, this is how it happens. And I get the phone out, and I'm freaking out, like seeing purple and gold. Not seeing red. I was seeing purple and gold, and that was it. When Jared Jones turns on that baseball and rips it into the night sky. Oh, my God. He crushed it. I'm trying, like, I asked my family the next morning, like, did y'all hear me? They're like, was I too loud?
What were you doing?
LSU baseball had a walk-off.
Ejaculating.
At 2 a.m. It was the best. Jared Jones lets the umpire hear it as he's walking down first baseline.
This man, look, double Noah. Conception.
I couldn't believe it, dude. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, bro. It was unbelievable.
The amount of videos that came out from this thing. We were with the SEC Unfiltered guy like for much of the day. He came on Mikey's show and he was like, "What do we do after? Like, what do y'all get into?" He's like, "Dude, just shoot us a text. Like, we'll treat you right." He'd never had crawfish before, and so we got him to do crawfish, do the whole thing, fried fish, the whole deal. And then he stays the entire time, that's how you do it. Your first Alec Bucks experience, you're like, dude, you get a 1 a.m.er? Like, this doesn't just happen to everybody. And then he got this video, and this is where I saw for the first time the real, like, umpire debacle happen.
Dude.
Where it's just, keep it moving, and Bear's like, yeah, I'm keeping it moving to the crib, cuz.
Game's over, brother. Just lose it.
Where'd the audio go?
Just lost the baseball in the night sky.
Oh, here it is.
He picked it!
Yeah, it was restarted. You can't even ruin this moment with bad production.
He picked it! He picked it!
Dude.
He picked that shit! He picked that shit! Oh my God! Bear Jones, you animal, you! You animal, you! Ow! Oh my God!
Man, there is quite literally nothing like that. I mean, I would be hard I would put money there is no other atmosphere that can even compete with that, man. I mean, that is 1:30 a.m. in the morning, and that place is echoing. It had lost. A Christian left, and he wasn't the only one. That place had emptied out, but there was still a heavy crowd that echoed that Tigers chant at the end of the game, and what was just an all-timer Friday night. A special, special game. And, I mean, you're down 3-0 going into the bottom of the ninth, and you score 6 runs in what was just
ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. Like, we talk about the magic of LSU baseball and of Alex Box Stadium.
Tiger Stadium.
And you just...
Both.
Yeah, and you just sit
Something
there and
in the whiskey here.
Witness it. Like before, like somebody I think had tweeted at you, Lloyd, on your post Friday night. It was like, what voodoo stuff y'all got cooked up for tonight? And I mean, couldn't have guessed it better myself. Like, he absolutely nailed it, because
that kind of voodoo shit.
That's exactly what it was. I mean, a special, special night on Friday. I mean, like, just you could not draw it up any better than that. Like, you say what you want about how much it sucked the first 8 innings, not being able to scratch across a run.
You were getting no hit into the 5th.
I mean,
like no hit, not sniffing one.
No, and I mean, what's his name?
Liam Doyle.
He was balling.
It was an absolute pitcher's duel, and that's where you started to like, damn, you hate to waste an outing by your ace. Like, you see Kate Anderson go pitch for pitch with him.
Yes.
And then it gets down into, you give up one, it was 1-0. And you're like, well, if you can't score 1, you don't deserve to be playing. Like, you don't deserve to win.
No.
If you can't score 2, then you're not going to win. Then it got to 3, and it goes, well, now it feels a little bit bad. Feels like 3 was almost too far away because you haven't seen any offense. And then, like, we recapped it, and that's the way that it can happen in Alex Box, where it's, okay, like, string it together. This LSU offense has done that throughout the year.
Yes.
Like, that's not a mistake. It just happened to be in the 9th inning where you absolutely needed it. And thank God they won on Sunday, because I would have wasted an all-timer on Friday to where you'd be like, look back, go, well, and you got lucky Friday. Should have been swept. And instead, it's 2 or 3, and you 10-run Tennessee after you got 10 run by Northwestern State.
Yeah.
Feel a little different today, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Good Lord.
Because I was talking to Schwartz, Joe Schwartz, the LSU women's basketball coach, our friend of the show, on Saturday night. Yes.
Recruiter.
Heck of a
Great
recruiter. Well, talking to him Saturday night after the loss, and he was like, they got to win it tomorrow. He's like, you can't let Friday night go down and just be forgotten because you lose a series. I was like, no, I agree. And they took care of business on Sunday. But to wrap up Friday, I mean, just shout out to Kate Anderson. And then who else came in and pitched? What was it? Cowan and Myers pitched.
Yeah.
You got an inning out of Cowan, an inning out of Myers. Myers gives up 1 run, but other than that, he takes care of business. It's 3-0 going to the bottom of the 9th. So Ethan Fry, I mean, easily could have just rolled over that baseball and jogged his way down the first baseline. Sprints, gets safe. Jake Brown, same deal. Great bat from Tanner Reeves. At bat.
Great walk.
Great at bat from Tanner Reeves. Dalton Beck. Round of applause, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, Bear, got a couple of magic moments you could have given out.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the team.
But, I mean, Dalton Beck, to only have 1 SEC at-bat before that moment and be like, buddy, you're putting that helmet on and you're stepping in the box right now.
Okay.
Game on the line.
Could be Beck, huh?
And, I mean, he just rips it at the pitcher.
A laser right back up the middle.
Couldn't have scripted it better than that. And then Derek Curiel, we're going to get to him a little more in detail when we talk about yesterday, because that is a special, special player. And then obviously Bear Jones capping it off. A special night on Friday. And so then I woke up Saturday morning, or a special morning on Saturday morning, but I woke up later in the morning on Saturday, and I was like, I'm getting tickets tonight. Like, I have to.
Oh, you and everybody.
I can't miss that again. I wasn't able to get tickets on Friday. I was like, no, I'm finding my way into Alex Box Stadium tonight. I get tickets, ready to go. I get there first pitch, and it's just it was a lot like Friday night. It felt like it was a little bit of a pitcher's duel with Ianson and the Texas A&M the Tennessee starter on Saturday. Amen. They're going back and forth, striking everybody out, getting out of the inning. Ianson gets out of a few jams. Tennessee is able to scratch across a couple runs, and then LSU was never able to get in a rhythm with the relief pitching. They weren't able to get anybody on the mound. They go Schmidt to start it. He walks his first batter, was never really in control. He gets taken out. Rizzi comes in, finishes off the inning. And then I think they go from Rizzi to Primo.
Yeah.
Primo gets an out with the bases juiced.
Primo had a moment.
He did.
Had a moment, like maybe DJ.
Yep.
And they deposited.
And then they take him out. They bring Chase Shores in that moment, and they just that was Tennessee's night. You know, they were able to put a bat on the ball consistently. LSU just was not able to. They couldn't get that starter out of the game, and they could not bring that rhythm that they had in the bottom of the ninth back with them on Saturday, and it set up for what was a pretty special Sunday Game 3 rubber match.
Oh, in Game 2, whenever it was 2-1, then you go to the bottom of the seventh. It
starts 3-2.
Yeah, when it was 3-2, you start feeling like, oh, it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Like you could feel like the pulse in that place was unbelievable. Like you take what you did on Friday, and it kind of rolled over to everybody that wanted to be in the box was in the box. We didn't even talk about the kid that threw the baseball, the right fielder.
Oh yeah,
the place was drunk because when you got there and the game started, it was one of the loudest first innings because first pitch ball, everybody fucking annihilated the umpires. Like, oh, it's going to be one of these. And then by the fifth inning, everybody was a little sleepy. Yeah. And then by the ninth inning, you had like a second cavalry come. That is like people that were, I guess I'll go to the game. Like if you're at 11 o'clock at the bar, like what if we just walk over to the box?
Yeah.
And they did. And you got that rally. And then Saturday was a scene. It felt like a football game. Like the tailgating before, everybody around, the vibe's immaculate. And that's when the magic started to happen again. 3-2, you start coming back, and then a huge a huge eighth inning with 6 runs. You're like, well, maybe still.
Yeah.
Scored another run, and then ultimately can't win. But then that rolls into Sunday, and what you saw from the pitching on Saturday did have you like wondering what they're going to do on the mound. You saw Shores come in, like, well, who's going to start Sunday then?
Yeah.
And you start wondering, do you go with Cowan, who was able to pitch a little bit, help you get a win on Friday, a guy that started before, or do you go with the freshman shortstop / pitcher from Texas?
The high school shortstop turned pitcher.
Never started a college game in his life.
He's a closer.
Pitched him.
And I mean.
Then Evans comes in, gives up the inevitable 2.
Yep.
As can happen when people are more locked in than you are because they don't never seen you. Batters are more intent than pitchers are because, hey, I got to feel my way through the lineup here. I've never done this, make me a little nervous. And then after that, it was an absolute clinic from Casan Evans. And you have to give kudos to Jay for being able to trust this guy, trust his gut, and be able to put him out there at a moment in a series and game that you absolutely had to have.
And as we continue to break it down, I have a question for you, Lloyd.
Oh. Okay.
How do Sundays work now?
Yes.
Is it Casan Evans' day, or do you keep him in, or do you just kind of play it by ear? Because my thought was just you kind of play it by ear.
Yeah.
The way you were able to get him on Sunday this past weekend was because Saturday went the way it did, and there's no reason to throw him out there when the game is in that kind of position. Trust the rest of your pen.
Cowan and Evans are both in the camp of, I don't know if you start him now, because I do think it's a case-by-case basis because of how the series had played out. And if you're Jay, you can kind of see if you can take anything from how he's used those two, if LSU's in striking distance.
Yeah.
Like 1-run game. Other than that, like 1-run, 2-run games, and you can see that Jay has a feel for what the offense is doing if they're about to break through. Like you saw, it's when Evans came in for the first time, LSU was down.
Yeah.
And so you start to see, like, okay, if he feels like the lineup's going to break through and LSU has a chance to win, Cowan and Evans are coming out the bullpen. And to see, now do you put Shores in that mix of somebody you want to see come out the pen, and now Evans becomes your Sunday guy?
Yeah.
No, I think they all can rotate through this thing because you're trying to win baseball games. Doesn't matter if you start it or finish it, but I'm using you as a leverage piece whenever I feel like it's the best opportunity to try to win a baseball game because what you've seen from Cowan, what you've seen from Evans, feels like you feel really good where they are on the mound whenever you're playing.
No, I mean, Jay Johnson says it after the game yesterday, outside of his wife.
That hurt my feelings. I was like, well, I'll ask him.
You got to keep working your way there.
He could have shoehorned me in there.
Outside of my wife and Lloyd Courtney.
Right.
Casan Evans and Zach Cowan.
And Zach Cowan.
Are the two most important people
Honorable
in my
mention.
Life. Yeah, there you go.
Done more for this baseball program.
Get on that list, man. But yeah, an outstanding performance from Casan Evans yesterday. And he is now, he starts off as a closer, and then it's like, okay, can he extend himself, further into games outside of just 2 innings? He comes in, what weekend was that? Was that the Texas weekend that he extended himself the first time on Sunday? I think he came in the 6th as opposed to like the 8th inning.
Right. But that's before you kind of didn't know what you had.
And so you saw him extend himself for the first time then, and then you realized like he was a true, stopper, not just a closer. Like he's like you put him in the game.
Nobody's getting hits off of him.
Yeah, he's a stopper. And then now
Missouri. Thank God.
Yes. Now you've added another tool to your tool belt with Casan Evans being able to come in the game, start, and take care of business from tip to tail. What he gets through the 6th yesterday.
Yeah, I'll
6 innings.
I wanted the official numbers.
6 innings. I think he gave up 6 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts, 2 earned runs that were in the first inning. After that, he just took care of business. So an outstanding performance from the freshman arm for LSU yesterday to lead them to a series victory. And one moment to me at the start of that game yesterday that put LSU in such a good position is when you get the inevitable too. With the way LSU's offense has been, not even the first 2 games of the series, but just in totality the last couple of weeks, you need some sort of momentum so Evans isn't going back out there with the weight of the world on his shoulders of I just gave up 2 runs, I can't give up anything else. How about a leadoff homer from Derek Curiel to get started? Another freshman. It was much more than just that leadoff home run, but to me, that was one moment that stood out to me because it was like, okay, it gives Casan a chance to take a breath and not feel all that pressure and all that weight going into the second inning where it's like, I can't give up another run. I don't want to put us down even more.
Especially Curiel coming off a Saturday for the first time in his LSU career doesn't get on base. And then what do? Let's start this streak over immediately. Yeah. But to show, I don't think this can get played enough because what Curiel did, like this moment, this is an LSU moment. Like this is something he's going to deposit in the back of the brain. Like the emotion is like everything you said. Like this is why the fuck you come here.
Literally.
Like so excited.
Extends this game. And these crazy
because I mean there are times in all of our lives where we make decisions and we want to find out if it was the right decision or not. And as much as Curiel has had his success this season and knows that he made the right decision to come to LSU, it all came pouring out right there on first base.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that absolutely could have gone to the Major League Baseball draft. And he and Schmidt, probably the 2 biggest recruits that you were able to get. But Curiel was the first one to do it. He's the one that helped Schmidt come to campus because he's like, Coach, I'm coming. I'll come to LSU. He's like, oh, okay, take it. Because you don't know with these MLB draft guys, but that moment right there, what he's done this year, but for him especially, like to validate yourself, like this is way better than being in Topeka, Kansas on a Tuesday.
Amen.
Like give me that. Give me 1 a.m. in the box.
Yeah, I mean, talk about adding another.
And 3 a.m. in the box probably.
Yeah, another piece to Jay Johnson's recruiting pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, he already had the Dylan Cruz story, and Dylan Cruz gave him plenty of sound bites of play college baseball. This is the best decision I ever made in my life. Now he's got Derek Curiel in that play right there. And then what he did yesterday, the freshman for LSU, 2 freshmen, Evans obviously, but Derek Curiel starts it off with a homer and then just absolutely dominated yesterday. Like, am I safe to say that he was seeing the ball well yesterday, Lloyd? Derek Curiel?
Hey.
It's safe to say he was seeing the ball pretty well?
Oh, my God. And like you said, to be able to start off that way whenever it's 2-0, LSU's been fighting every game, the first 2 games of the series to have to come back. Yep. You felt those like runs lingering. Felt like you're always fighting back. To put one right back on the scoreboard was huge for LSU. And then you saw Evans settle in, and then the offensive one side. Like you do, maybe hoped like they needed a breakout kind of game because they've been, if it weren't for the Friday, like when you have to score 3 runs in the ninth, I don't know, and then you score 3 more runs in the ninth to make it 6-3. But I think people had questions about the LSU offense and kind of where it was going and what's happening, and the way that series played out, where you get the comeback one Friday, and then you have the game that got out of hand Saturday, but it wasn't as bad as the scoreboard indicates. Right. And then Sunday to have finally like all the pieces fall together where it's like, oh, this is an onslaught and you 10 run where you have Luis get a hit. Broswell is scorching hot.
Yes.
Like you're starting to see Stephen Milam heat up. Like all of the pieces that like when the lineup plays like that, LSU is not the best team of the country, one of the best teams in the country.
Oh, yeah. Jake Brown.
That was a super regional you got to play like early, like I guess in SEC play.
Yes.
That was an Omaha game.
Yeah, no, 100%. Get Jake Brown's home run on that screen. That pimp job he had after
he's gonna get ejected.
Baseball. I'd have been fine with it. What did you text yesterday in the group chat after the Jake Brown home run?
I don't know. What did I say?
What did you say? You said, I would love to get tossed for pulling my massive dong out and running around the bases after a pucker up. 100%. And I think Jake was feeling the same exact way. Like, and I have no problem. Bat flipping to your own dugout?
Fine.
He
leaned way back on one, too.
Way back. And absolutely crushed that baseball yesterday.
And kudos to the LSU, like, media staff. The videos, just like cinema that they're putting out, like the way that they're getting multiple angles of all of this. You have guys in the dugout. Yeah, it feels like the whole production team was obviously out in full force. But the content that they put out throughout the weekend has been nothing. Like this is college. Feels like you're watching professional, like to where you're like everything that you see is like, oh my God, this is unbelievable, and this is just another part of it. Let me get it 3 times. Woo! Over out of the stadium. See ya. Hey, get out. And broke it wide open. And then you get the old school 2009. You get the thumbs up and let me get a hold me back, boys. Let's go. Case is like, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
Now I get to go back out there with the lead.
And then the absolute show that was this weekend, too.
Gosh,
good Lord. Just enjoy yourself. You got a great seat.
And we were talking about it on Friday. Friday morning on the show, we had a whole segment about umpires and how like it's going to be a long weekend for whoever's behind the dish. And
he could have walked into more of a lion's den on Friday, like, and then the way
man.
Let's call balls and strikes like this: pitch, mitt.
Yes.
Like the pregnant pause was killing people, and he had his moment too. But God, I couldn't have been any better. I wouldn't have had it any other way.
No, I mean, absolutely electric weekend.
Great conversation he had with Bear.
Yeah, I'm going.
I'm going. Get going. Oh, we're going.
Yeah.
See you.
Going home
at the crib, cuz.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely electric.
But then the fact, and like Vitello, and what was going on, where the umpires again, like, give him an absolute break. Well, he's going to make a.
Whoa,
he's going to have a. Yeah, you can't. What
are you helping him out
for? He's an adult.
Yeah, he's a grown man.
Sorry, he doesn't know the rules, but he's going out to what seems to be a mound visit. And if he does another mound visit in that inning, he has to make a change. And instead of having to make a change, the umpire's like, hey, actually, you can't do that unless you would make a pitch change. It's like, I'm already on the mound. And you had Jay watching, going, what's happening? And then it took.
the second.
Then he starts throwing warm-up pitches.
Yeah, the second base umpire is sprinting from his spot to the mound.
No.
Stop, Mr. V. Stop, Coach V. Stop. You got to pull him if you come over here.
And they're having the conversation.
Disgusting.
And the guy that was getting absolutely that was needed to be talked to.
Yeah.
Not only he gets to have a driver range session over there to figure it out. You're like, what is happening? Yeah. Oh well. You reap what you sow.
Yeah. Amen.
Tony.
Amen, Tony.
Good for you, man.
But just an absolutely.
I mean, he might as well have logged a couple innings himself Friday. He was out there so much.
Same for yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet put out yesterday. It was I know Casan Evans and Tony Vitello look alike, but they're also spending the same amount of time on the mound on Sunday. So
unbelievable.
Absolutely unbelievable weekend as well. We do have some clips of Jay Johnson talking about the weekend, and I want to start with him recapping that walk-off win on Friday. Yep, no worries. Because once again, as much as you want to talk about the weekend and how great yesterday was, Friday night, you can't draw it up any better than that. It was beyond special. Hunter Hall, going back to my conspiracy theory earlier this morning, Noah would have jinxed LSU and they wouldn't have won. No, I agree. I was telling that to Lloyd this morning. I was telling that to Lloyd when we walked in this morning. I was like, I wish I would have been there Friday, but I show up Saturday and it's a loss. I was like, I got to get back on the couch with Tucker and watch this game on Sunday
watch the whole
and
thing
take
on
care
my
of
phone.
business. And that's what happened. So, I mean, SEC series, I might test it one more time and see if I can
Arkansas should
not be
massive,
jinxed.
too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tonight was awesome. Proud of the team. I thought we competed against, outside of Rhett Lauder, that's probably the best pitcher we've seen since I've been here at LSU tonight. And think about what I just said with the league and all of that type of thing. First rounders everywhere. National championships, you're running through Omaha. Regionals, super regionals, SEC. Doyle was pretty electric. Like I thought our guys competed their tails off at the plate, and we had no hits through 5. So that's kind of how good he was. But great night, stuck with it. Great at bats to set the table there. Ethan, getting down the line right there. Jake put in the ball in play, and obviously he has speed. Great at bat to walk by Tanner. And how about Dalton Beck? So awesome. Hit 18 home runs last year at Incarnate Word and wanted to come here. In a sense, he, almost kind of recruited us when he went in the portal and then went and, did a billion summer classes to be transfer eligible as a 5th-year guy, and then has not 1 second complained about being a role player, on this team. And we got him in the game against Alabama last week, against Osmer, who's really tough on righties. And, he didn't come through. But, he was just so slowed down, locked in, showed what a 5-year player, looks like, and huge hit to set the table there. And then Derek, 2 strikes, man. It's amazing. Just an amazing player. He's a baseball player. If there has one. And then Jared. It's you guys don't get to see what happens behind the walls of this thing on a daily basis, but we've been working hard, for a few years like that.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, Jay. Gives everybody their flowers in what was just an absolutely electric win Friday night. We will have Mikey Mahtook join us in about 15 minutes, 8 a.m. this morning, to recap the weekend as well. So we'll continue that conversation on baseball. And we've got a few more clips of Jay here talking about the weekend, and we're gonna fast forward to Sunday and listen to. Or no, we'll stay on Friday. I got one more clip from Friday of him talking about this team and the bond that they have.
We've been alluding to it all year.
Feels so, yeah. We've been talking about it all year, and you see it, even him talking about Dalton Beck right there. That's buy-in. That's the buy-in we've talked about since week 1. And here's Jay talking about that.
Yeah, and if you're Dalton Beck, real quick, 18 homers in Incarnate Word could have easily played every day. And
right. Or probably gone somewhere else.
Yeah, somewhere else in the SEC and played. And instead, I'll take that moment over 18 home runs at Incarnate Word.
10 times out of 10,
yeah,
Coach.
That was worth it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate that.
But, yeah, this team's super close, and everybody kind of feels like is okay with whatever role they're put in. And here's Jay continuing to talk about the bond.
Yeah, we have a deep roster. We have a deep team. It's not a roster, it's a team. Let me clarify that. We have deep team, and, like I said, I think it's one of those things that makes you feel good about coaching, not coming back and winning a game, but getting to coach like Dalton Beck, and we hit on just about every guy in the portal this year on either elite fit for this baseball team, Zach Cowan, Chris Stanfield, Danny Dickinson, Luis Hernandez. We hit on all those guys' character, and then we hit on character on the guys that haven't got as much opportunities, like Dalton, like Eddie Yaman. It's just, to take only 12 returning players and have the team element that this team does is pretty awesome.
I mean, that's a heck of a point because you really forget that this team had not played together.
No.
Prior to and they make you forget that because of their bond. Like you can tell how close knit they are and how tight they are as friends, and you forget that they've never really played baseball together.
Yeah, that's what in this era, not only are you trying to recruit the best players that you can, that's evident.
Yes.
But those are guys that you hope would be able to be at LSU for 3 years, right? And then you kind of get to that point where it's like freshmen go through it together, sophomore get close, junior year you win it.
Yep.
And now in the portal era, with what you're able to do, and Jay, the way that he recruits it, I'll go get the best players in the country if they want to come here, and people do. And that
and
can
if the character fits.
Yeah, but that's more of what he always talks about. He's like, I recruit the person and the player, obviously. You have to be good enough to play at LSU, but I look for people. And you can see the people that he's brought in, all with the buy-in that I want to play for LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to play for me. I want to play for LSU. And it's all that collective, everybody on the roster.
Yeah.
There's not one – it feels like there's not one bad egg out there. They all get along, and they all have the buy-in to be able to say, I'll go throw for an inning. What do you need me to do? Bear Jones, I'll play third. Jake Brown, I'll play first.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? And then you have a guy like Pearson who's been here, it feels like forever. I'll platoon. He easily could be a guy that's no, if I'm not going to play, I'm good enough to play anywhere. And no, just let me play a couple innings here and there. And whenever you need me.
Right. Well, and think about his younger brother.
Yeah.
Every time you put me in the game, Coach, I make something happen.
It's hard to keep him out the lineup.
You pinch hit him on a Saturday night, and
it's a homer.
It's a yak.
Unbelievable.
But yeah,
and then even the dynamic of older brother, little brother, and I'm putting your little brother in for you. That could be a thing.
I'd be
but
pissed.
Instead they love it.
Yeah,
it's great.
No, don't put him in the game. For that. No, let me hit, not him.
No, put him in first, then put me in.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, it's very special, and I think Dalton Beck's a really good example of it. I mean, because like Jay said, that's not a player that's been at LSU, a Louisiana guy that grew up here and loves the university from that standpoint, and instead it's a guy that transferred in and is all the way bought in. So absolutely electric. Here is Jay talking about, we're going to fast forward to yesterday. This is Jay talking about Casan Evans, and then we'll just roll it right over into him talking about Curiel as well. Those two freshmen and their impressive performance yesterday to lead LSU to victory.
Casan. Everything. Compete factor, pitch mix, strikes, is unaffected by small things, and you run into more small things when you start. And so the maturity piece, those two are just, they're different. It's when both of them committed and when both of them said, hey, there's no MLB, now I'm coming to LSU, those were good days, and it's really hard to know what you were getting, and they've both been great. But I knew we were getting something. I can't sit here and tell you as dominant as both of them have been that I would have predicted that fast. But you knew you were really getting something that are program staples. When people talk about this place this year and the next couple of years, those are the guys that they're going to be talking about.
We'll roll right into the Derek Curiel clip of Jay talking about the other freshmen.
Mental and emotional maturity and stability. The baseball skills are easy to see. Once we got him committed, and this is a guy that seventh grade I was talking to at Arizona. You know what I mean? So I knew the player was there, and then go to the area code games, and he's running balls in the gap, and it really became okay if he becomes physically strong or physically mature before that draft happens as a senior, it's going to be almost an impossible keep because you don't see players of his skill set. He has put on, about 15 pounds or so, 17 pounds. I believe he looks better, stronger than when he showed up here. And then just that mental and emotional stability has allowed him to transition that talent into skill on the biggest stage in college baseball. And there ain't nobody we want at the plate more than that guy, right now.
No, I mean, couldn't have said it any better myself. It's a special player that LSU has on campus right now when you're talking about Derek Curiel.
Curiel and Antigua.
Yeah.
We're lucky to be alive.
I wish he would have tested Bear Jones at first base on
More
Saturday.
than he did?
Like,
I tried to fight him Friday.
Just like, come on, brother. That's David versus Goliath, and I don't think you have that.
That's only happened once.
Where's your slingshot at, buddy?
Yeah.
You ain't got one. Good try.
The first base coach was even like, Jesus, but
He's
buddy,
like, bro,
I can't help
stop,
you. I
stop,
can't help
stop.
you out here.
Nothing I can do for you.
And Bear Jones, what? Okay, whatever, man.
Like one of these little numbers.
Yeah.
That ant off my shoulder.
And it's probably a Tennessee team you'll see again.
Yeah, it's a very good baseball team.
I know they don't want to call it a rivalry. They
hate each other.
Yeah. It's not just LSU fans versus Tennessee fans. You can see that this is real.
Hate each other.
Yeah, whether it even from
every chance they get.
From the dynamic of like the coaches.
Yes.
Like they're both like making moves to be able to and if Vitello comes back to the box, just start clapping for the man. He lives to be a heel and he loves being booed. He eats all of it up, and then you have Jay who's like doesn't really get into it too much. And just that dynamic versus then the players, and you saw Bear Jones. What do you think he was doing?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a mistake to go over. Like, it wasn't an accident. No. Ended up over there by the third base visitors' dugout. And all of it's becoming a scene.
Yes.
Like, it's a movie.
No, I mean,
and this will happen as long as Vitello's here at Tennessee and Jay's at LSU. This will continue forever.
Yeah, I mean, they both.
This is how it starts.
They both recruit the hell out of it.
Yeah.
They put great baseball teams on the field. And they both have a manner in which they go about it that kind of clash.
Mm-hmm.
LSU's very much
have to be the bigger man.
Yeah, they're the mature pro. Like Tennessee is the.
But I will get the mud.
Yeah, Tennessee's the I'm here to piss you off and like get in your head.
It's the old guard versus like what they deem to be the new guard. Like we're the new era of what college baseball is. LSU's like, we've been here for a minute, buddy.
Yeah, and LSU baseball, they got in the
time to learn Skip Bertman.
Yeah,
buddy.
Come on. Welcome.
And now learn Jay Johnson.
Amen. And so, I mean, a special weekend. And we're going to get into it even more as the LSU legend himself, Mikey Mahtook, will join us in about 5 minutes to discuss LSU taking Tennessee down in Alec Box Stadium this weekend. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll have Mikey ready to rock and roll and continue to break down this weekend with his expert analysis, some would say, as he joins us in about 5 minutes after this.
Bless you.
You changed hats. I like that.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Well, the Oscar Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together two great names, the Andrews name and the Ochsner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Ochsner's to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Ochsner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
48 Insurance Agency, established in 1946, helping you with your home, auto, commercial, life and health insurance needs. Around in Baton Rouge at 4275 Government Street and online at 48agency.com. Whatever insurance you're in the market for, home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health, get in touch with 48 Insurance Agency, 48agency.com, or give them a call at 225-383-0682. 48 Agency.
Get Gordon and get it done. Yeah, everybody know Gordon in a 225. And he done link with Big Foe. He got buku ties, Ferrari sliding, flying in a new coupe ride. And every time I ride by, I see a brand new sign. I'm with Gordon, I know that he gon' get it done. Whether it's a big truck crash or a hit and run, recovery funds, he fighting to get a ton. Mike Epps, man, we all about the Benjamin. Handling injuries, man, are you kidding me? Gordon McKernan, that's champion energy. Yeah, family man with a family plan. Get Gordon, he gon' fix it like a handyman. Gordon, and get it done.
Welcome to Trifecta.
Trifecta Sports Therapy in Baton Rouge. Recover, repair, restore. At Trifecta, they believe in total body wellness. Trifecta gets the body back to its full potential. Whether you're a youth or pro athlete, a pre or postnatal mom, or if you lead an active lifestyle or a senior citizen, Trifecta has the class, the sports massage, the sports therapist, the stretch therapist, or the equipment like infrared sauna, cold plunges, and golf simulators to find your best. Find Trifecta online at trifectasportstherapy.com or check out the beautiful facility today, 8221 Goodwood. Trifecta Sports Therapy.
Hey Tiger fans, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit us, Tom and Wright Granning, at Go Mart on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip.
Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on your left.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Now I'm just driving around it. They said I needed soul searching, I already found it. I unlocked my other side, now I'm sounding astounded. Drive by and let it ride like a whip in a Tesla. Pressure never fazed me cause I'm bigger than pressure. I'm on my grind, bullshit, can't fit on my schedule. I'ma do what's best with me, you can keep all your lectures. Spend the summer staying.
All right, we are rolling on to hour number 2 this morning, and we're starting it off at 8 a.m. with number 8 himself, Mikey Mahtook, joining us to break down the weekend. Mikey, good morning. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How's everybody over there?
Oh, we're doing excellent. It was it's hard.
How's the chat? Everybody excited now? Better than last weekend?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, better than midweek, I guess.
Yeah.
No, 100.
Baseball's a funny game, huh?
The feeling on Monday is a lot different than Wednesday.
Well, listen, people are still complaining. They should have lost on Friday. Mm-hmm. They didn't get ahead until the 6th inning. I get all of that. Big home series though. Big series win against Tennessee. Can't complain when you beat a top 10 team and a team of that type of or that caliber.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll get started just talking about the weekend as a whole. What are your big takeaways from the entirety from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
Friday was electric, obviously, for all the fans that stayed there the entire time. Me and Lloyd were in there. We're in that number together.
You tried to leave.
Stayed until last inning. Lloyd didn't want to stay in there for extra.
Oh, you dog! Don't you already set the narrative up? You can't do this to me. You can't undercut me. I threw you right under the bus.
Oh man, when we were there. Luckily, we didn't go to extra innings. It was way past my bedtime, but
Well, yeah,
that was electric.
15
Obviously,
whiskeys will do that.
Yeah, well, we got a nice little shooter at the end of the game. It was nice.
No, yeah,
Walk-off.
that was unbelievable. So they hit the walk-off. These two kids had like a crate of cinnamon whiskey, like the little fireball shooters. They just started throwing to the crowd. Like one of us, like, that's exactly what I need right before my drive home. I mean, right home.
Before 2, right before 2 a.m.
Yeah, perfect.
But that was electric. Obviously, Jared Jones' home run, maybe the loudest ball I've ever heard hit in Alex box. That game was awesome. You felt like that inning was kind of like the offensive exorcism for LSU, right? Like you feel like they were going to come out on Saturday and they were going to be lights out and they're going to go and they're going to have, an offensive performance. You had all the momentum. The crowd was in a frenzy and you just thought that it was going to go differently than it did. Obviously, the game was tight up until the 8th inning and they gave up a 6 spot. And that wasn't obviously what the ideal situation. Non-offensive exorcism on Friday. Obviously, the Tennessee starter was really good, throwing 100 miles an hour. LSU got there tight in the 7th, but didn't work out. And then on Sunday, I guess that's when the exorcism happened. Maybe it was a little delayed. You had to get some of the bad stuff out, maybe an extra day to get some of the bad stuff out. But Sunday, the offense came out there. Casan Evans, I think, is the story of the game. Lloyd texted me the inevitable 2. Obviously, Skip Urban talks about the inevitable 2 in the first inning. It's inevitable that you're going to give up 2 runs. You just got to avoid that, or you got to get back on track and let those be the only 2 runs you give up. That's what Casan Evans did. He was lights out, 6 innings. Looks like, he may – I don't know what Jay's going to do, but that he looked really good as a starter. And then the offense did everything that you wanted them to do. They scored 5 runs early on, and they just continued to add on as the game went on and ended up 10-run ruling. So I guess my big takeaway is Casan Evans, obviously, and then the offense on Sunday. That was the best offensive performance we've had in probably the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, no, 100%. Let's rewind to Friday night, aka Saturday morning. And does it get any better than that?
The only time it gets better than that is I was at 9:30.
Yeah, fair enough.
Not 1:30 or 2 o'clock, because you'd have the entire stadium there, and that would have been, a lot more people deserve to experience that moment. But even the fans that were there, I mean, it was loud, it was energetic, it was fun, and it was a lot of frustration came out in that home run for Jared Jones, and came at obviously the best time it could have come. LSU's down to their last strike with 2 outs and no runs. They're down 3-0, and then you get a pinch hit by Dalton Beck, which was unreal, base hit, and then you felt that they obviously had all the momentum, and then Curiel comes in with a 1-2 pitch, base hit, ties the game. All 3 of those at bats. No, I guess Dalton Beck was 2-1. Curiel and Jared Jones both 1-2 with 2 strikes and 2 outs, and so it was good to see those guys, never quit and keep grinding through it. But the atmosphere was awesome for all those guys, all the people that stayed.
Do you get that anywhere else in the country? Is that hyperbolic to say that at 1:30 in the morning for a college baseball game you have that amount of people, whether that amount of people stay and not only stay but also impact the game and be as rowdy as that gets? Like, I don't think you get that anywhere else where you get a college football-like atmosphere.
You don't. It's Baton Rouge and Alex Box Stadium is one of a kind. I mean, it is literally there's nothing like it. There's no other place like it. I know we mic'd up, retweeted the tweet that Chris McGee tweeted out on Friday, but it really is a magical place, and it's just something that you can't really explain. There's no rhyme or reason why it happens, but when you're in Alex Box in a situation like that, very magical. And then the fact that the fans are who they are, and they stayed through rain delay. They stayed through, 2:00 in the morning baseball, not even extra inning baseball. It's literally, you start the game at 10 o'clock, and it was still, from the first pitch.
On his ass.
First pitch, at 9:55 from the first pitch, they were rowdy and on the umpire's ass the entire time and on Vitella's ass the entire time. It was very impressive, and the night capped off the way it should have.
100%. Talk about you're speaking of the magic of Alec Box. How much relief, or how did you know that the game was changing in the bottom of the ninth?
He didn't.
When the third baseman airmails that throw on the fry grounder, and it's just kind of like, okay.
Ask Lloyd what I told him.
That's exactly it. What, I want to go?
He didn't want to give me credit. Ask him what I told him. Right after that play happened, what did I turn to you and say?
Oh, well, let's rewind it a little bit. It's 2-0, and then it gets to 3-0. He goes, all right, that's it. It's over. And then immediately you get the ground ball. No. You're like, all right, let's go.
They said it was over. That was the people next to us. They said it was over. I did not say it was over. It was 3-0.
I was setting you up because it's like the fish is this big now. He's like, all right, it's over. There's nothing you can do about it. Immediately, right after you say that, you get the laser ground ball to 30. Airmails go, this is how it happens. This is how it happens in this place. Now they're going to win.
And then they did it again. Yep. The next error, after the second error, I looked at Lloyd and said it's over. LSU's going to win. Yep. This is what happens. You have to get a little luck. You have to have an error. And then once that happens, it's usually, I think it's Skip. Skip said it. We've always talked about it. It's an error and a walk, right? If you get an error and a walk and a bloop and a blast and you do these things, and that's how you make these things happen. So you had the error, right? You had 2 errors of the same guy, which after that I was like, it's definitely happening. And then you get walked. And I'm like,
it's definitely
happening. And then you bring in Dalton Beck, and he goes 2-1 count. And he hits that laser that almost takes the pitcher's face off, which I'm glad it didn't, because maybe not have won. I had the pitcher not come out the game. So he hits the ball up the middle. I'm like, this game is over. LSU there's no way they're losing this game. Curiel, big at bat, obviously, and then Jared Jones with the loudest home run I've ever heard in my life. So, yes, once the errors happened, you felt it. I've been a part of those games where, the train starts coming down the tracks and you cannot stop it. As a visiting team in Alex Box, and the crowd had a lot of juice in the crowd, even at 1:30. So it's pretty awesome.
Whenever you were playing, like at an LSU game like that, when you're in the dugout, do you feel it? Or you're like, this is how it?
Yeah.
Like they know too.
Oh yeah, you feel it. You feel it building, and you just know it's about to explode, and you can feel it happening. And obviously, it doesn't always work out the way you feel that it's going to. But you can feel when the momentum is like at its peak, and more times than not, the guy comes through and it's just mayhem.
Yeah, no. Talk about Derek Curiel. Obviously, he has the big AB, the big single on Friday, but then just was unconscious yesterday for LSU. Talk about how good the freshman is for the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean he's words are starting to kind of. Words can't really explain what he's doing. He had, I don't know, it was 43, 44 straight games, whatever it was, however many games LSU's played. He had reached base. That got snapped on Saturday, and then he comes back on Sunday going 4 for 4 with almost hitting for the cycle. Saturday, it felt like he was a lot more aggressive on pitches in the zone. He didn't really change his approach as far as like taking, being patient. But it felt like when he was getting that fastball, he was getting the head out a little bit more, which is why he hit the homer, pull side double. But he still stays within his approach, and you get the opposite field balls and all of those types of things. And so, his approach is a very, very veteran approach. It's not a freshman approach. The way he approaches the game, the way he continues to make adjustments in game. He is very, very special, and what he's been doing is not, we get spoiled here when you look at Paul Skeens and Joe Burrow and Dylan Cruz, and you expect everybody to do that. What he's doing is not what normal freshmen do. He's one of those rare guys, and he's almost like, I don't want to say that. I'm not going to say this.
Yeah, don't say it.
But he's been everything that you want and more, and I can't wait to see his development.
Yeah, and then all in all, the pitching on the weekend, what are your takeaways? Obviously, Casan Evans with his performance yesterday, but just in totality, what were your thoughts on the pitching for LSU?
I thought starting pitching was great. I thought, Kate Anderson
pitch for pitch.
Yeah, I mean, he was pitch for pitch with a top 5, top 10 guy in the draft probably coming in this year, and he was lights out. We were able to get through that game. Obviously, they managed that without having to use – I mean, they used Callan for a little bit, but they were able to keep that game close enough for that magic to happen in the 9th. Saturday was a disaster. Starting pitching, good. Starting pitching, I thought Ianson pitched great. 5 2/3. I think he gave up 2, maybe 3. I think they cashed in his third run when he came out. But he was great, and then the bullpen just fell apart, not throwing strikes. Walking a bunch of guys. I mean, so that's the recipe for losses every day of the week. Not allowing these guys to get hits, and then when they do get hits, you've already walked a couple guys, and now they're driving guys in. So Saturday was not great in those regards. I mean, they had a bunch of walks, and then Sunday, Casan Evans' first start as a freshman. He's been lights out of the bullpen, different role. Let's see how he reacts to it. Gave up 4 hits in his first 6 batters he's faced. Gave up 2 runs. And then after that, I think he gave up 2 hits the rest of the way and was lights out. Was touching 97 in his last inning of work, his longest appearance of the year. So I thought starting pitching was great. Bullpen, obviously, that has been the coin flip as of late. And other guys have got to step up and start throwing more strikes. And I wouldn't be shocked. Is there a midweek game this week?
I believe so. Let me see.
Let us enjoy the weekend.
I know they play Grammy. They're getting down to the point in the season where there's not many they're not going to have any midweek games. So I don't know if it's
Southeastern on Tuesday.
They have Southeastern. I wouldn't be shocked if you saw a different guy come out of the bullpen that you hadn't seen all year. Devin Sheeran had taken off of the injury report for the weekend, and I think you're going to start seeing him get some innings. Midweek would be a perfect time for him to get his feet wet before before he gets in an SEC game. It's a guy from transferred out of the portal, 98 miles an hour, throws strikes. And everybody says, everybody throws 98 now, but this guy throws strikes. From what we're hearing, looks really good. So interesting to keep an eye out on that and see what happens with him. I don't know any information. I haven't been told anything other than watching him throw live at bat, or hearing that he's throwing live at bats, watching him get loose, and seeing the injury report with him not on it.
How big of a deal would that be to be able to add an arm like that throughout, I guess, when you're hitting like the real nut cut part of the season? You're like, oh, the one part of where you actually feel like you're struggling, it's like, oh, here comes the cavalry and it could just be one guy.
Well, especially if Casan Evans is going to end up being a starter.
Right.
I don't know. Jay was non-committal on that. He didn't want to say whether or not that was going to be the norm. But if Casan Evans is your Sunday guy, then now you need somebody to fill that role as being the top right-hander out of the bullpen.
Where would you get more value out of Evans? Is it out of the bullpen, or is it a Sunday guy?
I mean, if he could go 6 innings, I mean, it's like
we could go 6 innings on Friday too.
You're right, but we didn't need him for 6 innings on Friday. So I guess, look, him and Cowan,
elite,
and I think that what Jay is going to maybe do, and I don't know, but similar to what Maneri did with Lewis Coleman beginning of 2009. So Coleman would close on Friday if he had to, beginning of the season. And if he only closed or didn't pitch, he would start on Sunday. And he did that for a few weeks until coach was like, well, he probably should start every weekend. Like, let's just put him in. And so he ended up being SC Pitcher of the Year as a starter. I think he went 14-2. And so that could be an option. I don't know what he's going to do, but whatever he does, Casan Evans is going to get his innings, and he's going to be a big part of that rotation or the pitching staff. But Sheeran coming back would be a big get. And all these other guys, they have got to figure it out. Like Myers came in. I know he gave up a run. He's been a little bit better. Maverick Rizzi's got to find the strikes. If those guys can find the strike zone, they are the stuff is there, right? And Chase Shores looks like he's going to be out of the bullpen from here on out, or at least in the near future. And for me, he's got to learn. He's got to start locating his slider. His stuff's there, the makeup's there. He's a great dude. He wants to win. He works hard. And sometimes you get in these little situations and seasons where you just can't. It doesn't feel right. And for me, it's not necessarily the fastball. I mean, through his fastball, he's touched 100 a few times on Saturday, but it's the slider. Slider's not consistently for a strike. He'll throw one for a strike and then he'll yank one, and he's not as consistent with location. I think that's been a big issue for him. And so if you can get him right, obviously that's a big change too. But guys are going to have to step up, and they're going to have to say they got the nut up and start throwing strikes.
Speaking of nutting up, how big of a decision was that by Jay Johnson? You said, let's see how it goes, to make a change on the weekend for what feels like a series that could decide whether you're a top 8 national host or not. Like, because if that doesn't work out, imagine the shitstorm of the fan base that this would be today.
With Casan Evans, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was obviously a big move. But if you really look at it and kind of see how the weekend went, Casan Evans didn't throw, right? Like, I think the game's dictated to where he's like, all right, like Friday could never put Casan Evans. You're down 3-0 or you're down 1-0. You were never winning the game. And so you never had an opportunity to put him in the game. And then on Saturday, you're down 3-0. You hit the back-to-back homers. And then, you don't throw him in that game because you're still losing. And then, obviously the game gets out of hand, so he doesn't ever throw. So the game kind of dictated Jay not having to throw him. And then, so obviously the expectation was he was going to start and they were going to do exactly what they did. I didn't think he was going to go 6. And so, it was a big move, obviously, to throw in there. I think Jay had a bunch of confidence. I had a ton of confidence in doing that. I mean, that's what I would have done. You don't really have anybody else that's proven that hadn't thrown, other than maybe Jaden Newt. But you had nobody else that you had proven that, okay, I can trust this guy to go out there and throw 4 to 5 innings on a Sunday start.
Well, I think you could have also made the case that you throw Cowan as somebody that started before, like obviously had 2-3 years of starting experience at Wofford, and it'd been like that would have been an easy, like another decision. They'd be like, okay, I see why he did this, but he threw on Friday.
Right, that's why they didn't start him. I would imagine. Cowan didn't have the length that Evans was going to have going into Sunday because he didn't throw a ton of pitches on Friday, but he threw enough to where, and he hadn't done that a ton, where he threw, twice in a weekend. And so, he had enough to where he could get you 9 outs. And, it worked out perfectly for them on Sunday. And Casan Evans did exactly what LSU needed. And the offense on top of that was the big story because, you get down 2, offense scores 1, and then they tie the game up, and they go hit the 3-run homer and go 5-2. That gives a lot of comfort to the pitcher who's starting to find his way, and then he just dealt the rest of the way.
Is it safe to say that these two baseball teams, LSU and Tennessee, don't really like each other very much?
Yeah, listen, Antigua was flirting with some danger over there.
Twice.
That's the wrong. I mean, you're 5'6". You're talking to a 6'5" guy. You are going to get smushed, and
it's like it's like me trying to fight you.
Yeah, tough guy on the field because you obviously know nothing's really probably going to happen. But yeah, there's a lot of animosity and hostility, and I think, like I said, I think it's more towards the fans, but that trickles down. You feel the energy, and the fans boo, and then something happens, and it's very competitive. It's obviously a competitive game. Everybody, all the guys out there want to win. And so you start running your mouth a little bit. Jared Jones hits the homer. They don't like that. If you don't like that, don't let him hit it. That's what I would say. And, I think it's good for baseball. I think it's good for the team. We've seen in years past, whenever this stuff happens and there's a lot of shit talking going on, LSU seems to raise their level of play, and that's what happened.
Yeah, and then the one more thing between the two teams. Obviously, a lot's been made of Tennessee and their home runs. they come into Alec Box and they only hit one homer on the weekend. It's pretty odd, isn't it?
Weird how that works. Georgia hadn't been hitting a ton of home runs on the road. Weird how that works when you get outside of your comfort zone. It's a different animal. And listen, look, Alex Box, the ball can fly out. This weekend, it wasn't really blowing super hard, maybe a little bit gusty to left sometimes, but Friday, dead still. Like humid, dead still. And, you didn't get a ton of wind throughout the course of the weekend. And, homers weren't flying, balls weren't going out. Listen, there's a couple balls that got hit to center field that may have been homers in Tennessee, but not here.
Fair enough.
Both sides.
Speaking of different animals, look behind you. Got a Kobe signing. Look at him. Oh, what a hard day, huh? I hate Mondays.
He's sleeping, this guy. He's about to get a haircut, too. That's why I'm at my house. No, he loves haircuts. He loves it.
A bougie dog.
Let's go. Bougie.
Speaking of bougie, how would you rate the chicken tenders in Alec Box?
Okay, that's a good call. Listen, chicken tenders in the stadium, solid. It's just normal. Like they get the job done. Chicken fingers in the Champions Club, elite. French fries good too.
Oh yeah,
French fries get better. Chicken fingers, nice and breaded, perfect breading, a little crunch. But it's not too much bread. It was fire.
Dude, they're so it was a great move by
Nate.
Good. Just with 18 boxes, we're like, oh, okay, we'll do this again.
When the company plays for it, you get whatever you want.
That's right.
I mean? He's got clients to entertain.
You can tell that doesn't happen to me often because I took mine with me for 10 innings. I was walking around with chicken tenders.
Well, I didn't know that he was going to get it, and then we split one. We did the whole deal, and which was good. I appreciate you, looking out for me because if I would have eaten all of them, I would have felt bad. And then Nate comes back with a stack of stuff. I'm like, oh my God.
Let's do it again.
And then, and everything.
Elite experience in the box this weekend. And I guess you look ahead to Tuesday.
Yep.
Does that, is there no letdown factor, right? Like you start looking at this LSU baseball team, and even if they are to get 10 runs on Tuesday, I think you could start to see what this LSU baseball team is. And they're starting to be one team that should probably be taken more seriously around the league. Or at least in the nation.
Yeah, it's a big weekend coming up against A&M. Obviously, you don't want to overlook Southeastern. It'd be nice to get that one and just continue this positive momentum you got going. But look, they've had a month straight of not really playing good baseball offensively, and they figured out a way to keep their 14-7.
Yeah, I think so. 14-7.
So 14-7, they figured out a way to put themselves right at the top of the SEC, even though they haven't been swinging the bat as well as they want to. Sunday was the best that they have played in an SEC game probably all year, offensively specifically. And so, you want to keep that momentum. They're going to have to do it again this weekend. Texas A&M, obviously, they got swept, didn't they?
Yeah, got swept against Texas, but every game was very close.
Every game was a one-run game.
Yep.
Yeah. Their starting pitching has been really good. They obviously can swing it. They're going to be playing at A&M, and so it's going to be another challenge offensively for LSU. That's the one thing Texas A&M has been doing really good consistently all year has been their starting pitching. Their bullpen has been up and down. It's been better as of late. And so, it's going to be a tough series for LSU. Getting to the bullpens early is going to be key. They've got 3 series left, and this one in Arkansas, and then on the road to end the season at South Carolina. So this team is starting to peak. I don't want to say starting to peak because that was one game. But that one game is a good sign moving forward. Hopefully they can continue this and have another good weekend and start to peak offensively at the right time going into the postseason. So, they obviously are going to be hopefully a top 8 national seed and have the ability to host a regional and super regional here and mic'd up, have some banger tailgates. What a great tailgate we had.
Excellent tailgate. The stars were out.
Came out clutch.
Yeah, speaking of A&M, there was one Tommy Moffitt there. Intimidating man. He made me I had to go get him 2 drinks. A Sprite. He's like, I actually like. Wait, what?
Working for him. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, well,
working for Tom.
I know, and I'll talk all this shit to him about going to Texas A&M until you see him eye to eye. Then you're like, "Never." You know what? What do you need, Coach? How's your take
Actually,
coming?
he was making Lloyd run sprints up and down the levee. It was crazy. Lloyd said, "Yes, sir." And he was doing it. I've never seen him do that before.
He was staring me right in the eyes. I was like, I don't like that. I'm super uncomfortable right now. I was like, never mind, Coach. I'm sorry for all the things I've said.
Yeah, no, it was. We had a great time. A lot of people coming in and out. Felt like a football tailgate. A bunch of RVs out there. It's only going to get better. Arkansas in a couple weeks at home. Obviously that's Arkansas scuffling right now, but and their schedule's not getting any easier. So they come in 2 weeks, and that'll be another big tailgate. And then they obviously postseason ball is
ball,
the best.
When you look at the postseason for LSU, it used to be what 16 was the number to be able to host. 16 conference
to
wins.
Host?
Yeah, but now with the addition of obviously Oklahoma and Texas, I keep hearing 20. You have to get to 20 wins. It feels like, and I've been.
Wait a minute. Wait, I'm confused. Wait, they're saying it used to be 16 SEC wins to host a regional?
To host a regional and host like a top 8 national seed, it felt like.
No, 16 never really, yes, if you go 16 and 14, you have a chance based off of the SEC. To say that to say now you have to win 20 to host is not correct. It is. I think it's going backwards, right? Like the SEC is so much better now than it has ever been. You don't necessarily need 20 wins to be the national. I think you need 17. I say 17 to be a top 8 national seed, but I've always said that 17 range. Sometimes a 16-win team in the SEC could do it. I think 17 gives you a hosting a top 8 national seed.
Oh, I'll take that because that was
20 is going to put you in a position to win the SEC. Maybe not this year because Texas won't lose, but normally 20 wins, you win the SEC. 2009 we went 20-10, shared the SEC outright SEC. 2023 they went 19-10.
Mm-hmm.
So 20 wins will usually put you in a position to win the SEC outright. But definitely you don't need 20 to host a super. I think 16, 17 for sure, I think gets you a host.
Hell yeah.
Which you're 3 wins away from.
Yeah. Right, that's because I was kind of pocket watching the rest of the conference and what LSU had left. Obviously, a very contentious. No, not contentious. I'll say, but the South Carolina series probably means a little bit more to some people than others. And then you have obviously Arkansas at home, and then A&M, who was absolutely scorching hot, but it ran into a tough series against Texas.
At some point, Texas is going to have to come back down to earth.
Right.
They keep winning every one-run game they've played, and they lost their ace. At some point, I'm not saying they're not good because they're very, very good, and they're winning and they're earning the wins. But they're the only team that hasn't gone through the valley of the season. So, you'd imagine that's coming soon.
Well, great stuff as always. What do you have lined up tonight from 6 to 8 for Mic'd Up?
We're going to get a player on. I don't know which one. We're working on a few out there. I know a lot of people want Bear Jones to come on because of all the stuff that happened. Working on that. I'm about to send out some texts. Listen, I'm giving these guys it's 8:30. I'm giving these guys
long weekend.
A little time. I don't want to bombard them early in the morning. Gotta let them get up and coffee, work, whatever the heck they do in the mornings. I don't know, but we're gonna have somebody on.
Yeah, you act like you don't know what you did in college in the morning.
A different world. College is different. Way different.
Oh yeah.
I was always a coffee guy. I always drank coffee, even in college.
Look,
I wake up and drink coffee. Always a morning guy too.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yep.
And hopefully there's some.
See you on Friday. We'll see you on 6 to 8.
Yeah,
Friday,
we need some night guys. We need some 6 to 8 guys, which we've had. I feel like it's been a good little mix. Thinking about a little evening
every week,
time,
except for one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every week except for one. Yep.
And that was a good call.
The right move.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, we appreciate your time as always this morning. Good stuff, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, boys. I appreciate y'all.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
There it is. Mikey Mahtook, the legend himself, breaking it down. Good stuff, as always. I wonder who it's going to be tonight.
I don't know. Got a couple feelers out. I have an idea.
Of course.
I think we had a contingency plan, but now after, if you can get Bear, get Bear.
I mean,
he's been on before. He came on, was he a freshman? I don't know if we've had him on since, but would love to talk to the Bear. He gave a great interview. What was it, on Sunday?
Uh-huh.
And they were still talking about Friday.
Yep.
And he gave his spiel as to, like, with great mood. Like,
Hey,
I'm
I'm
more
going.
than welcome to talk. Yeah. I mean, I just told him that, like, look, we're all going.
Game's over, buddy.
Going. Okay.
Whatever.
To the crib.
I sat down in my seats on Saturday, and that umpire was the third base umpire. And I was like,
ugh.
You better not screw a call right here, because I'm right behind you, buddy.
A pretty clutch.
No, he did. He helped us out on
yeah.
one. He helped us out on a check swing.
Yeah.
It probably feels a great deal of relief after being behind the plate on that Friday.
Gosh.
Be like, yeah, I'll do anything other than
I
that
would
again.
love to be the third base umpire.
This is great.
It's so easy.
You bet, because the guy on Saturday didn't have it any easier.
No, at all.
Great waistline on him though, snatched.
It looked good.
Yeah,
looked good. Yeah, no, that umpire did help us out on I think it was the check swing strikeout for DJ Primo. They appeal and he
banged
and I was
him.
like,
that's what he wants to do. He just wanted to.
Yeah,
I gotta imagine that there's not many places worse to be an umpire than Alec Box, or better. Like the ebbs and flows of this thing. I would hope, like you would have to think that does sway your opinion. Like it would be way more fun to punch somebody out here than not. Like these people are gonna love me.
Yeah,
I would be so bad at that.
So bad.
How y'all like that? Let's go. But you can't do anything.
Yeah, come
on.
Intentional
walk. Nope. And then you had Gavin Cash and Will Gasparino get into it.
Uh-huh.
Got ejected.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Texas Tech, and then you had it happen again where people just run into each other.
Yeah.
Like, that was Bush. But also, who's the shortstop for Tennessee?
Antigua?
Did you see the tag he put down
on Dickinson?
Yeah, that was intentional.
Of course it was.
Like, so that Bush League bullshit. Like, get out it. Like, that should have been a fight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have blamed Dickinson at all.
Yeah, respect to Dickinson for keeping his composure, because I'd have been pissed off.
Well, he hit me right in the mouth.
Yeah, but he got a baseball to the freaking schnoz.
And he did it too hard.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he caught it, and he, like, wound
with
it
intent
around right at his face.
Yeah, that's
no, that's on purpose.
That's, what, flagrant 2, out the game.
Get him up out of here. After looking at the review, that is a flagrant 2. Antigua has been ejected from the ball game.
Ball up top.
Ball up top. Funny enough, this is completely off topic. I was watching the Lakers game yesterday. When the official went to the microphone to announce the call, he kept calling LeBron by his first name. Like usually it's number 23. The fouls on number 20. It was
LeBron.
It's an intentional foul on number 5 from the Timberwolves for pushing LeBron in the back. I was like, dude, I rewinded it to show my dad. It was so funny. I was like, LeBron's getting first name treatment now. LeBron will shoot 2 free throws after the foul.
If you thought it was a foul, Michael, just let me know.
100%. But we appreciate you guys. Great stuff from Mikey as well. We'll take a quick break here, come back, and we'll close out Monday's edition and hour number 2 here. One quick shout out, Cordell. Want to give a quick shout out to Cordell. He sent the new intro song in last night. Excellent work. We're excited to get this ready and going for you guys, so y'all can see the new trailer,
new era,
and the new song as the new era has begun. So we'll be right back after this.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Click Here Digital, the home of the Jordy Culotta Show. Online at clickheredigital.com. If you're looking to set Google ads, set social media campaigns, learn about SEO, display video, or even creative, Click Here Digital has the answer for you. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com.
family calls family. That saying resonates even more as your family grows. And we can't seem to stop growing. Meet the newest member of the Get Gordon family, Penny's cousin Rosie. Rosie already knows, the larger your family, the more people you have to lift you up during trying times. Just like at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, we've grown to over 200 team members with over 50 local attorneys. So whether you pick Penny, employ Ellie, roll with Rosie, or get Gordon, we want to be your lawyers for life.
Your lawyers for life.
Phil's Oyster Bar, a staple of South Louisiana since 1945, located in Southdown Shopping Center and online at philsoysterbar.com. If you log online, you can learn about the private party schedule, the catering menu, and even order online. Daily lunch specials Monday through Friday. Learn about the history when Gus Piazza took it over in the early 70s, made it an absolute stop-in for everyone who came through Baton Rouge, and now Anthony, his son, carrying on the tradition. Phil's Oyster Bar, Southdown Shopping Center, and online, philsoysterbar.com.
It's rare to find someone you can count on when it's go time. It's even more rare to find someone you can count on, well, all the time. At Sunshine, we're proud to offer the John Deere equipment you need and a team you can depend on and off the field. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Let shit slow up.
I hate that I have to say this, but I have to say this. Yes, I have a shoulder injury, despite what ESPN says, and what some lady on a podcast might think. Okay, I have an MRI report to prove it. The team knows about it. We've been in constant communication. There's nothing wrong. We're figuring it out, and we're going to go forward with that. Is that okay? And I've been dealing with this, and I've been dealing with people lying about me. I've been dealing with them saying this and that, and I'm like, Lord, why do I have to continue to deal with this nonsense? Like, what is going on? And I say that to preface with, you never know what someone's really going through. And so why do we continually try to attack people? And I would say attack people that are trying to do things maybe the right way. Why do we continually try? Why do we always have to have an opinion? Why do we always? Twitter and Instagram has ruined things for some people, because now all these people think that they have voices that have to be heard. And so, like, some people's voices don't need to be heard right now. I just got to be honest with you, because not one of our opinions in here matters. Did you know that? The only opinion that matters is that text right there. It is the Word of God, and everything must bow at that. And so
amen.
Maybe people don't want to hear from you, Derek.
Fair enough.
Your words don't matter either,
Yeah,
man.
your opinion doesn't matter.
What an idiot. Like, maybe some people don't need to be heard from.
Maybe you or one or some people
lying about me.
Yeah.
Why do people keep lying about me?
I think Jesus did it.
Like, dude.
He dealt with it.
Yeah, but Jesus didn't make hundreds of millions of dollars.
No, he made no money.
Oh, people keep lying about me. Fuck you, man.
And to use the platform of God as your buffer is unbelievable. Like, that's not, I don't think that was, you're giving a sermon at some church in Las Vegas. Do it in New Orleans.
Kimberly said, why? Guys, we were having such a good morning. We really were. We were on this high.
I brought the video up, and Doug goes, where'd you find this?
Why are you playing this? What a damper on a fun morning.
Oh, man. He saw the Shaw news. He's like, you know what? I'm going to run to a mega church
for some reason,
in Las Vegas.
For some reason, he might still be the Saints quarterback this season. Mickey said if he's healthy, he'll be the starter. No, don't give him a uniform. Give number 4 to what's our new running back from Kansas? Wore 4 in college. Give him the 4 jersey.
So soft.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've thoughts.
What if they give Tyler Shuck 9?
No.
Stop.
No.
I saw that tweet and I wanted to
stop. No, stop. This organization would do it.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if there's just you absolutely cannot.
No.
It should already when is there a certain amount of time?
I think he's done something. I don't think they've retired it, but
he's in the Saints Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But is there a certain amount of time you have to wait? Because it should be up in the rafters already.
Yeah.
Like they should have Shedeur Sanders.
I think maybe once again the NFL Hall of Fame they'll do it.
Okay. Because it should be up there.
Like 5 years after you retire.
Because it should be up there.
Yeah, well, they should do it before the NFL makes the decision to put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They're like, well, obviously you're a Hall of Famer to us.
Right.
I know it just takes a little while.
Is it Shuck?
Shuck.
He stinks.
Yeah, there's a
He's
lot
scared
of
of
discourse.
contact.
There's a lot of discourse about this guy. Yeah, the pressure is the biggest problem.
Well, the Saints,
if you sit and look at the film,
you're going to get pressure.
If you go and look at the film, it's
ducking out the way.
It's very much because that's the same problem with Derek Carr.
Yeah.
If you put pressure on him, he's going to crumble. Now the good thing about Shuck is he can move.
Well, he's old.
He can, but he can run. He ran a 4.6 40, and he's mobile and can get out of the pocket. So that's a plus. My biggest thing is, as I'm going to put my personal feelings about the pick aside, if Kellen Moore wanted him and that was his guy that he wants to bring in and start his career with, then so be it. Roll with it. Now, I disagree that he shouldn't have been picked at 40. You could have drafted Mason Taylor.
Glenn Ewers in the 7th.
And you could have drafted Mason Taylor at 40, and then you could probably still could have got Shuck at 71.
Absolutely.
Well,
and I mean, we did the draft watch party here with one Christian.
Yep.
Cowley.
Mm-hmm.
Your guy. What happened?
Shadorzy.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't he's getting blackballed or something. I don't know.
It was very odd. It was odd.
But it didn't make any sense that the Saints would dude, take him. I don't know. He wants to play for you.
Yeah, they obviously
he doesn't want to play for the Browns. His dad's even said that. They've wanted to play in New Orleans. I don't see why.
I think the Saints were Kellen wanted Shuck.
Something's going on with Shedeur because that was weird. Because he's first round QB talent this year, and he dropped a round 5.
Round 5.
Did you see the
There's
Browns?
5 quarterbacks taken in the first round last year.
The Browns took a quarterback before they took Shedeur. They took Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round.
Mm-hmm. There was inevitably going to be a drop of quarterbacks because so many teams took quarterbacks in last year's draft.
Right, of course.
And so many teams don't need quarterbacks right now because of free agency, Sam Darnold, just teams like that. But there's still a few teams that need a quarterback, and there was 5 quarterbacks taken last year.
Well, you just had the opportunity to take him multiple times.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they continued to pass.
I wanted him at 9.
Yeah.
And then I definitely wanted him in the 2nd round.
Yeah,
and in the 3rd round.
When the Browns didn't take him at 33 or
36,
I was like, that's what surprised me because I thought for sure the Browns passed on him earlier on. If he was still on the board at pick 33, they would take him. And they don't take him at 33. They took Judkins. No, they took a linebacker. And then at 36, they took Judkins. I was like, I text Christian. I was like, buddy, Shedeur's still on the board at 40. I didn't think he was going to make it. And then they take Shuck at 40. But really, outside of that pick, looking at the Saints draft in totality, I thought they did a pretty good job. Our boy,
we drafted him every
our
time.
first ever mock draft.
That's
we
right.
took Stutzman. I think he's going to be an excellent pick. I like the running back from Kansas. I think they overall had a really good draft besides 40. I think you could have waited on Shuck, and I think Glimmer's right. They panicked after Dart went off the board. Dart went early, and so they kind of jumped the gun a little bit and took Shuck at 40.
Well, and they didn't even have to jump the gun because Shedeur was right there. And I'd like to say this. The past drafts have gone well for the Saints too, Kendre Miller, but these guys are injury prone.
They have to
If this class can stay healthy the way 2017 did, it's a great class.
Yeah, because the injuries are stopping them from developing.
Yeah.
Like they're not getting any reps on the field, so they can't ever really advance. Like that 2017 class, not only did they come in and get on the field, they stayed healthy up front, and so they were able to grow.
And they didn't make any stupid trades up or anything for a Peyton Turner, Marcus Davenport, whoever it is. So
that was
happy about that. I mean, they didn't have to trade back there. They didn't.
No.
Did y'all hear Mel Kiper have an absolute meltdown?
Absolute meltdown. Because, I get it. And my heart broke for Reese Davis.
Oh, my God.
I guess that man couldn't have, somebody was like, as much as Reese hates being on the table with McAfee, he can't wait to get back to College game day. Which I don't know if he actually hates being with McAfee, but Mel Kiper was just...
Here, I have some of the audio here.
Unbelievable. Run it.
Well, look, that's a whole other discussion that we've had in many different ways for weeks and months now.
This is not one of the toughest quarterbacks.
No, this isn't about this isn't about quarterback traits and quarterback characteristics, personal football characteristics. That's not about this. This is personal.
And we know that it's off the field issue. No, he has not.
Mel, you don't have to sell it to me.
No, I don't know what we're talking about.
You're right, something. You're right. Yes, you're right. But you know what? The draft has spoken.
That's right. That's the key, Mel. It's not putting a value judgment on whether those two guys are right or wrong. They did. So now, whenever you're in circumstances in life, whether you like them, whether you don't like them, whether they're fair or whether they're unfair, you might have to deal with them. Now Shedeur Sanders has to deal with it. And for whatever reason, whether he played a minute, microscopic percentage, 0%, or it's a legitimate criticism of the way he conducted himself during the draft process, this was the result.
Yeah.
Now he has an opportunity to answer it. I think yelling at the NFL about it is not. There's not a quarterback. Boomer Esiason was not happy when he was a second round pick. Tom Brady was not as happy. They dropped. How'd they turn out?
And you know what?
Nobody's arguing that. That can happen. The NFL has been clueless for 50 years when it comes to evaluating quarterback. Clueless. No idea what they're doing in terms of evaluating quarterback. That's proof. There's proof of that.
How many
times we know exactly what we're talking about with quarterback? They don't.
Shout out to Reese Davis.
I didn't want to get party rocked.
Handled it like a absolute professional. And put Mel in his play. Look, I don't think Shedeur Sanders is a fifth-round quarterback. I think he's a talented quarterback. But there's no reason to turn around and have this hissy fit on stage.
It's not your kid.
What are we doing?
It's just such a weird moment for Mel Kiper to kowtow for it. I don't care who the player is, but I think he was so almost embarrassed that he got
it so wrong.
Yeah, he got it so wrong that he's like, no, actually, they don't know what they're talking about. I do.
Right.
Like, Mel, if you knew what you were doing, you'd have been hired by an NFL team to do it.
If Jimmy Clausen doesn't pan out as a starter in the NFL, I'm done. You know who said that?
Mel Kiper.
Mel Kiper.
Well, I mean, it's like Mel. Everybody was surprised. Your rankings were wrong. Well, everybody's rankings were wrong.
Right.
Why are you
the only people that weren't wrong are the people not drafting him?
Yelling at the NFL.
What is that
if the teams don't want to draft them, they don't have to draft them.
Just say you're surprised and moved on, because everyone
was. I thought he should have gone earlier than he did. I wouldn't have been upset if the Saints took him at 9.
Yeah, that's where I get that, being perplexed, but to do it for 3 days was Mel, you got one wrong.
That's the end.
You get them wrong all the time.
It should be the end of the line for Mel. That wasn't embarrassing.
Great TV.
Great content, but it looks bad on ESPN. The last thing ESPN needs is more negativity towards the content, and Mel was just that was
a meltdown.
That was an absolute meltdown. It's the 5th round of the draft.
That's what made it great.
What are we doing?
Didn't even know that happened.
You missed that? You didn't see that?
I didn't see that. No. My Twitter shifted from NFL draft to LSU baseball as soon as the Jones.
Pretty quick.
As soon as Jones homered in the 9th.
Yeah,
it was pretty quick.
I don't think I could have taken in any more LSU. I watched that clip Friday. Everything that came out from LSU baseball, Twitter, I could not get enough of it. I was let me watch it one more time. Let me watch it again. Oh, they have this angle?
Yeah.
Yep.
It
was awesome.
On the got home and watched I'll go watch the post-game press conference. Give me more LSU baseball.
Yeah. Kimberly, I think you got heated because it clearly went beyond football for teams. Not saying it wasn't over the top, but at some point it got. I do agree. I agree that there was obviously much more to the situation than just Shedeur Sanders' football film. Because if you turn on the film, he shouldn't have been drafted in the 5th round. If you look at the stats, he shouldn't have been drafted in the 5th round. That's not what held teams back. It was obviously something bigger than football. But for Mel Kiper to be up there to that extent where he's the guy that puts out these mock drafts, he's supposed to be unbiased in a sense of, I'm making my opinion. I'm building out this draft based upon my professional ability to do. That made it look like he had a personal skin in the game of, it looked unprofessional to us. And I get it. I was surprised too. Shedeur should have been taken higher.
And that's where he couldn't wrap his brain around.
Right.
He was like, well, why?
But at some point, as a professional in that stage, you have to sit down and say, okay, the NFL is obviously making a point.
And Bell, it's not a point against you.
It's not against
about you. It's about Shedeur. And obviously, there has to be something. And I agree with Kimberly. It got heated because it clearly went beyond football for teams. Not saying it wasn't over the top, but at some point, it got ridiculous.
Yeah, I think what the NFL did was
I don't think they formed like a coup. I think that there
were only a handful of teams that needed a quarterback: Saints, Browns, Steelers, Giants, Titans, and maybe the Raiders.
Saints.
The Titans got their guy, number 1, who has not been talked about at all.
Yeah.
The number 1 overall pick was a quarterback, hasn't been talking about it. The Giants went and got their guy. That's who they obviously wanted. They traded up to go get Jackson Dart. The Saints obviously had Shuck rated higher than Shedeur because they were both on the board at the same time. The only team to me that were surprising were the Steelers. Mm-hmm. I thought could have taken him at 21.
But then you have to factor in the Aaron Rodgers.
Right. They're still obviously sitting away, and they went and got Will Howard later in the draft. And the Browns are the surprising one to me because they take him in the 5th. They don't take him in the 3rd. And, they take Dylan Gabriel instead. I think that there were probably some concerns for the NFL, from the reports that have come out. Now, we don't know the truth of it. He didn't interview well.
Yeah.
You saw the way that it's been kind of composed. Now, I'm not saying it's right for the NFL to say we're just not going to draft them but it's their decision, Kimberly, how much of it do you think it was coaches not wanting Deion coming for their jobs so they didn't push for him? I think there probably were front offices and coaches that were trying to stay away from that aspect of it. The show that comes with Shedeur.
Right.
Because that's what's going to happen. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se. I love the brand exposure and all of I'm all for that. But obviously, front offices weren't that big of fans of it.
Yeah, I think that does play a massive part of it. Was just all of the Mel says he doesn't have any off the field trouble, but he has off the field this is a lot that's coming with him. Whether it be the Sanders show, all of that. That's how they got so much coverage was because of who they're the last name and who they are as a brand and as people. And then you have the Deion factor of he could come in and be a coach in the NFL. And obviously, he wants to coach his son. He's the only quarterback he's ever coached.
And that's the only coaches that Shedeur's ever had.
Right.
Which also could be something that's involved in there are a lot of layers to this. And so a front office could be saying, well, he's never been coached by anybody but his father. So, it's not taking away from his talent.
It's just, everybody.
But there's a lot of things that go into being a successful quarterback. Not just going out there and throwing the football. We've seen many talented quarterbacks fail in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That had the arm strength, that had the ability, that had all of the things, but there were other factors. And I'm not saying the NFL is right or wrong for how they handled it, but this is how they decided to go about it. And I think a lot of it is a domino effect of, okay, supposedly Mike Tomlin loved Shedeur Sanders. He passes on him. Tom Brady has been his trainer and has a really strong relationship with Shedeur. The Raiders pass on him multiple times. The Browns need a quarterback. They pass on him and take somebody else. The Saints pass on him. There's a domino effect of, okay, if these teams aren't taking him, then why there's obviously something, So Nate, 1886, I think it was a lot of the Deion work for sure, but if you win, you won't get fired. Not sure why they'd be that worried. I agree. The interview rumors coming out after that fact seemed like hit pieces to justify not picking him. Well, there were a lot of those pieces that were put out prior to the draft, but it could have just been I'm not saying that the NFL was right in how they handled it, because I do think Shedeur is much better than a 5th-round pick. But like Reese said to Mel, this is how the NFL decided to handle it. This is how teams decided to handle their draft. If they're wrong, we'll find out. I think that they shouldn't have handled it that way, and somebody should have drafted him higher than they did.
Well, clearly that he didn't do the combine. Didn't do a pro day, and then apparently tanked in all of his
interviews. He did do a pro day.
He didn't do anything.
Right, and then at the Shrine Bowl, he didn't play in it. He didn't practice. He didn't do the Senior Bowl. All he did the whole time was a pro day. And it's just been handled very publicly of, we're only going to take interviews with certain teams. There's not teams that he's going to play for. All of these things.
And at some point, you're good, but you're not that good.
And so, I mean, this is how it's been handled. And
yeah, you have to kind of marry the two. Like, all the things that came out with him and Cam Ward, like working out together, and Cam Ward is like, I do football.
Yeah, from a PR standpoint, it made Cam Ward look a whole lot better than it did Shedeur. But that being said, I think Shedeur's a good quarterback. And as much as all of this stuff happened, he still got drafted, and he still has an opportunity in Cleveland. They have Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Shedeur, and Gabriel. He's got an opportunity to make a name for himself. He's just got to go out there and do it. Sabrion, what grade would y'all give the Saints? C+. And I think that's on the lower side, Christian.
C.
C?
Yeah.
Lloyd?
Day nada.
Day nada.
Yeah, I think what happened was the pick of Shook kind of probably will shape everybody's perspective of what this draft was and what it might have been without it. Because I was a fan of the Banks pick. Felt like you weren't going to kind of reach and take a quarterback, then you see immediately like quarterback. Like that, I mean, I don't think there was anybody that if you have Shook, and there's some like reports of, they also, Iowa State quarterback Hunter Deckers gets a rookie minicamp invite with the Saints, and he was the guy that was caught on Snapchat gambling on football.
Respect.
Yeah,
no, I mean,
him and Casan, why don't y'all
sign him? Team up. No, I think the Saints had a good draft. The Angels, I wish they would have drafted a wide receiver, but I like the running back pick. I like Bo Davis obviously went and got his guy, the D tackle from Texas, the Virginia Tech corner or safety. Mm-hmm. I think he's pretty good. So I like the draft. I just think they reached on Shook. That's why it's a C+ for me and not a B+. If it wasn't for reaching on Shook, it'd be a B+.
Yeah.
I thought there was so much talent on the board at 40, and you have so many positions of need.
Right.
And like, this is what made 40 a pick that I didn't like. It has nothing to do with Shook, truly and honestly. I mean, not really nothing, but it's not because of who he is as a player. It's the talent that was on the board at 40 combined with how many positions you need. Like, you're a bad roster, an old roster. You need to fill a whole lot of holes. And to me, quarterback, as much as you need a quarterback, I just don't think this is the draft that's where your focus is.
Well, and you didn't pick the best available quarterback. He didn't do what he needed to do, whatever. I don't care. I do not care at all about the pre-draft process at Shedeur Sanders.
No, I'm just...
And you picked Tyler Shough.
I have no problem with them picking Shough if that's the guy that they thought fits the offense better. Like, if that's Kellen Moore's guy...
It's just where they picked him.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's just where they picked him.
I agree.
Yeah, because I think we all kind of had a sense of they're trying to rebuild, and I don't think Shough is that guy to rebuild.
No.
If he ends up starting and you end up losing 14 games...
Awesome.
Then what do you go...
You take a quarterback in the first round
what I'm
next
saying.
year.
Then you become one of those teams that's every year you're like, need a quarterback, got to take a quarterback, and then you end up with 3, and that doesn't.
Right.
You're not building in the right way. Like, obviously you do need a quarterback, but I think you could have continued to build through this draft and still been bad, and then gotten a quarterback the next year.
Because I think you would have been in a
You have so
perfectly
many
fine,
pieces, yeah.
perfectly fine situation if
Spencer
you go in
Rattler.
with Rattler, you have Carr looming, whatever. He's still technically on the roster, and you draft Will Howard or Quinn Ewers in the 6th or 7th.
Yeah,
like I don't think
Shuck's
Quinn.
still a project the same way Quinn Ewers is.
I don't think
project.
Quinn fits the offense the way Shuck does.
He can run a little bit
because Shuck can run a little bit and Quinn not really so much. But I would have been fine with the Shuck pick if they pick him in the 3rd. To me at 40 that was not the right pick.
Did DJU get picked up?
The Chargers. He didn't get picked. He got
picked
signed
up,
after. Yeah.
Of course.
But if Shuck, I don't want
Good
Shuck
upside.
to fail.
No,
Yeah.
I think he. Where's he from?
Who?
DJ.
St. John Bosco.
Yeah, Florida.
Yes.
That's in Florida.
I thought that was California.
It's one of those
Yeah,
two.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think he had like connections to like the Chargers. Like, oh, California kid.
Yeah.
Give him a shot. He's not playing in the NFL.
No.
They're awful.
But with that being said, I still want Shuck to work out. Like if he goes out and he plays well, awesome.
Great.
I want the Saints to be good. But
Yeah. Shuck doesn't give me face of the league, face of the franchise. Like I don't see the Saints riding off into the NFC South.
And I think if they take Shuck in the 3rd round
11
and
and 6 and winning the division.
Yeah, they take somebody better at 40, I probably have a higher draft grade on it.
Yeah, that's why I just didn't
But
feel like you.
I agree with Jared Hills. I'm glad they used all 9 picks.
Yeah,
I agree.
If they would have traded back into the 1st round to take Shuck,
I would have been mad.
I think people would be more upset.
Yeah, I would have been mad. Like the Giants, as much as I think the Giants had a pretty good draft, you threw away draft capital to go get Jackson Dart when he would have, I mean, you wanted to get in front of the Saints, yes, because I think if he would have been there at 40, the Saints take Jackson Dart, you didn't have to trade back in the 1st round for him.
I mean, bad franchises make bad moves.
But I still think that the Giants had a pretty good draft. Scadaboo was a steal later in the draft. Like I'm not mad at it. If the Saints would have drafted Scadaboo, I'd been all for it. Would have loved it. Patriots nailed their draft. They get Will Campbell and Braden Swinson. They steal Swinson late.
Swinson was upset about that he fell in the draft. I was like, that is kind of wild how far he's.
It did.
The production and what he did on the combine, you're like, oh, he's going to move up in the draft.
Yes.
Patriots.
Hey, iron sharpens iron, baby.
Yeah,
He'll practice against
That's
Will
what
Campbell.
Happened, look at what they did. They brought in Vrabel, who is a good coach. Like he's changed franchise. When he went to the Titans, they immediately became good.
Right, and he just had his 1st draft
and nailed it. It feels like
we got Will Campbell and Travion Henderson. You talk about wanting to get your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, comfortable. Go draft the best offensive lineman and maybe the 2nd best running back in the draft.
Yeah.
And put him in that position.
Yeah, make this a little bit easier for you.
Amen. So, but we'll have, hopefully, Nick Underhill with us on Wednesday this week to break down the Saints draft and his thoughts. So we'll get more into that later this week. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We're going to do our athletic connections, which we do every single episode.
Get sponsored
to close
by
it
the
out.
New York Times.
That'd be awesome. Would it? I don't know.
No.
Maybe it wouldn't be awesome.
But I appreciate them doing this for everyone.
Yes.
London, Paris,
Tokyo.
United States, Tokyo. Oh.
Wait.
United States, Rio de Janeiro.
Manchester.
Manchester. What about it?
I don't know. I feel like that fits with London, does it not? London, Paris, Manchester.
Oh, I was going
Rio.
I was doing like World Cups.
Yeah, World Cup, Rio.
That's what made me pause.
Oh, I'm thinking
or Olympics.
Olympics, yeah. Rio, Tokyo, London, Paris. Those not Olympics? I know Paris was this past one.
Tokyo.
London was 2012. Rio was 2016. Was Tokyo an Olympics? Yep. Let's go.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Tokyo was no, Beijing was 2008.
Do it for Beijing, baby.
Tokyo must have been 2020.
Only for Westwood.
All right, then we've got, let's see.
Warriors, Thunder, Texas. This is all Kevin Durant.
And then it would be United
States.
Olympics, yep.
Good for me.
And then pick, draft, take, select.
Yeah. What's Kentucky got to do with this?
This is derbies. Roller derby, home run derby, Manchester derby, Kentucky derby.
Getting pretty smart over here, fellas.
Yeah,
Watch out.
wow.
I go back to school again.
I wouldn't have gotten that one.
Yep,
That's why I
great
didn't
stuff.
say
And
it.
Glimmer, great point, Glimmer.
Cities were obvious.
Obviously not fun to talk about, but Kyron Lacey's service and funeral was this past weekend.
Absolute nails about the mom.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
so tough.
I don't even know how to put into words how his mom went out on in that moment, laying her son to rest and put that performance on like that. It was something that when I watched it, it just kind of like stopped me in my tracks of just the sheer power that woman displayed. I don't think it's something that we can all just kind of stop and just listen and admire. Because obviously I don't have children, so I won't understand that true pain. But to be able to get on that stage and do what she did, I can guarantee you she made her son proud because it was beautiful, powerful. Obviously his LSU teammates were there. I thought Brian Kelly did a good job with his, he went up there and spoke, and I thought he nailed it. It was definitely a heartbreaking day, a sad day, but when you think about a funeral, a lot of times it's a celebration of life is the way people want, to have those experiences. And I thought Kyron's mom and his younger brother getting on that stage and singing and speaking was just beyond powerful. The entire Lacey family, as well as the LSU family, I thought did a really good job at making it a celebration of Kyron and who he is and who he what he meant to them. So obviously a sad way to close it out, but I appreciate you, Glimmer, for bringing that back to our attention because it was a beautiful service and just a powerful message by his mother to get up on that stage and sing and just kind of really get all of our perspective straight and make everyone so proud. So it was a sad weekend there, but obviously I thought it was a true celebration of life rather than just a mourning of the loss from everything that came out from the funeral. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us this morning. Obviously, great show, fun weekend with LSU baseball. And we'll obviously get more in depth on some of the other stuff. LSU football had a commitment like we alluded to earlier in the show. We didn't really get to that because of LSU baseball. We'll have more of an update / breakdown on that tomorrow morning. And like we said, we let you guys know a lot recently that there are some changes coming and some news that should be coming out soon. Like I said, shout out to Cordell for the new intro song. There's some things on the horizon that we're really excited about, and we're excited to have you guys join us. So just make sure you stay in touch, stay tuned, stay locked in, because we've got some fun stuff coming up. And in addition to that, this Friday, I'll just go ahead and make the announcement now. This Friday, LSU versus Texas A&M, game number 1. We're going to be sitting right here watch partying it to enjoy, hopefully, an LSU victory on a Friday once again. So we'll be back tomorrow morning from 7 to 9.
Go!
Tigers!
There we go.
We'll see you all then.
But we can never put on the same shoes. I've been giving L's like I know love and I can't lose. For myself, man, I can't lose. For my family, man, I can't lose. I grind hard and I can't lose. I'm stacking days, man, I can't lose. Big step, but we can never put on the same shoes. I've been giving L's like I know love and I can't lose. For myself, man, I can't lose. For my family, man, I can't lose. I grind hard, man, I can't lose. I'm stacking days, man, I can't lose. Business is business, yeah. I grind for the check. Line up with me, you gon' see how different when